I'm going to speak to you today on the massacre of the Holy Innocents, which we just heard about in that gospel. The massacre of the Holy Innocents is the incident in the nativity narrative in only the Gospel of Matthew. Herod the Great, king of Judea at that time, orders the execution of all male children under 2 years old. As Bethlehem was a small village at the time, the number murdered would have been no more than about 20. But that is 20 families destroyed. 20 families with their joy crushed, their hope killed, and a baby murdered. All because a wicked and evil king got his nose put out of joint by God's angel's warning to the 3 kings. They didn't return to tell him of the baby Jesus, the baby king. So when Herod knew that he had been mocked by the Magi, he sent his murderers to Bethlehem, saying to them, "Slay the male children from 2 years old and under." Mary, having heard that the children were being killed, was afraid, and took the infant Jesus and swaddled him, and put him into an ox stall. Elizabeth, having heard that they were searching for her John as a well-known male birth, took him and went up into the hill country and kept looking where to conceal him. There was no place of concealment. In a loud voice, Elizabeth said, "O mountain of God, receive mother and child." Immediately, the mountain was cleft and received her and the baby. And a light shone about them, for an angel of the Lord was with them, watching over them. In Saturnalia, a Roman text of the 4th century, it described the events. When he, the Emperor Augustus, heard among the boys in Syria under 2 years old, whom Herod, king of the Jews, had ordered killed, was his own son, Herod would kill 3 of his sons. Augustus said, "It would be better to be Herod's pig than his son." The Feast of the Holy Innocents commemorates the mass murder, about which non-believers know nothing. For the murder sets the time and place of the birth of Jesus, and it was committed by one of the most vile men in the history. Yet he is never listed when evil men are named. Name the most evil person or people or history. Immediately, Hitler, Pol Pot, Stalin, Lenin, but never are any from the biblical time listed. And these wiped out entire civilizations, entire peoples. And Herod, he was afraid of an infant. Some sources say he killed over 370 infants and toddler boys. In 2015, a mass grave of all infants and toddler skeletons, all male, was found just outside the area of what would have been the Bethlehem village and surrounding area. They went out the equivalent of about 3 kilometers. So the one writer's supposition that it was 20, I've always thought that was very small. But this 370, that sounds more correct to me. 370 individual remains were found. Though on the day of the massacre, there were over 500 listed as lost. They found some of the documentation. Because papyrus sustains very well buried in the desert. All were murdered by sword or crushing, tossed from the top of a wall, or a stone dropped on their head. The discovery of the grave confirmed the story that Herod documented in his papers. He was a Roman. Nazis took a page from Romans and documented every event, especially every murder. And the grave further confirms the birth of Jesus Christ. Non-believers and atheists can't discount a grave of 370 baby boys and toddler boys murdered because the Roman governor was afraid of a baby visited by 3 wise men who saw his birth and his rise to glory as something great. Oh, but how I wish I could write the exegesis on that first reading. So beautiful are all of John's writings. Please pray for the innocents at risk around the world today. In the East, the now seemingly extant Yemen crisis, the Syria crisis, the restarting, inevitable Iran and Iraq crises. Or perhaps we should just say, Dear Lord, today, as in every day, we pray for every child so that those in war zones, those being starved to death, those that cannot be educated because of a basis of religion and their gender, those being abused because of their gender, those being abused simply because they are alive. We ask, Lord, that you save them. We ask, Lord, that you punish their abusers. For anyone who would hit a child, anyone who would gas a village, villages, schools, school buses, turn machine guns upon school buses en route to a yeshiva, a Jewish school for boys. Those people, Lord, you should take from the earth much sooner, so that you may start their punishment sooner. I wish, Lord, smiting would come back into vogue, and that rather than being so hands-off for millennia, you would again start to be involved in our world, so that the evil can be wiped clean. Because there is so much of it. But if it could just be removed from the children's lives, if they could just get 3 days a week to play as children, to laugh, to be children, to smile, to have that high-pitched giggle that you only have as a child. And for that sound that little girls make that makes the hair on the back of your neck rise, dogs howl, but it's a laughter. I don't know how you gave them that sound, but that it's one of joy makes it redeemable. It still makes your hair stand on end, but it's joy. So we'll just note that, next time around, let's lower the pitch a bit. We need your help, Lord. You've put so many, many stupid people together. We know you love the idiots. You have pity for the stupid. Those who think it's their right to drive a car without a license and while drunk. It's their right to own a gun. It's not. But it's also their right to not take a vaccination. That's a fight that you can't teach. But it is your command that they take the vaccination. If only you were here, Lord. A smite here and there would really change attitudes. But save the children, please. I will take more pain. I will take more pain every day if you will bring them all out of Yemen. I will take more pain for the rest of my life if you will bring them all out of places of starvation, war, no health care, no schooling, segregation by gender, forcible rape due to war. If you could do that, Lord. I know there are others listening who too would accept pain to help those children. If it be your will, Lord. If it be your will.